Today, I'm packing for my workshop road trip through Death Valley and Joshua Tree. It's finally here. I'll show you what gear I'm putting in the bags to throw in the van. Well, hey everyone, Hudson here. Quick approaching the scene, just showing you what I pack to take on a big workshop road trip in my big Sprinter van, El Jefe. We're heading into Death Valley and Joshua Tree. Really quick, remember to sign up for office hours on April 12th, hudsonhenry.com/office hours. Leave us questions there. Rick and I will be answering those questions along the road and dropping videos, and we hope to see you in the live free office hour session on the 12th. And again, you know, I'm showcasing a lot of gear here. All the gear that I use and stand behind is at hudsonhenry.com/ATS links. All right, so, you know, I'll get rid of some of the stuff that's in between you and I here first and easy. You know, I've got my computer bag with my laptop, hard drives, all the fast cables that I need. I have a really nice Dell 27-inch monitor that's all color calibrated for if we want to do image reviews on the road. El Jefe has a power system and everything I need to hook up and be able to do that. Or, you know, we can do it in a restaurant somewhere. If we just are pressed for time and we want to do image reviews, it's easy to do with an external laptop screen. So got a nice bigger one for that, for this workshop group that's small. I've got a whole bunch of case filters to lend out to anybody that wants to use them. I got 100mm rectangular, 1mm thin filters and holders. I've got 82mm filters, 112 filters and rings for anyone that needs neutral density or circular polarizers on the trip. I've got some extra bags for myself just in case I get in a situation. I'm back to my old big DSLR bag for the Z9 just in case I want to sling just the Z9 with say the 100-400 or the 24-120 and run and gun with that. That's sitting right here. I've got my smaller Nya Evo Fjord 36 just in case I want to just pack a few things into a bag and go a little bit lighter. I've got this big video tripod that I actually used to carry on all my big adventures. I've carried this on overnight trips. I've carried this actually up on Denali. It's a Sackler fluid head, my first and beloved sort of studio fluid head. I bring that along on workshops in case someone needs to borrow my big set of tripod legs with the fluid head and wants to try it out. Or, you know, I frequently find people show up at these workshops with tens of thousands of dollars of the most modern photo gear and really insufficient tripod support. You know, I build these custom tripods and sell them on my website and explain how to do it and give you parts lists and everything for what I think is a much better way to support your camera. If you haven't done it, check it out, hudsonhenry.com/tripods. I'm bringing a couple of my small, lightweight Acrotech panoramic head setups just in case I want to use a second tripod or in case someone else on the trip, if I have two people that need a tripod, or someone just wants to try out the lightweight tripod. And then I have a couple of big Pelican cases with interesting gear in them. I'm getting rid of this big one first. This is new and it's kind of fun. It's early in the Milky Way season, but there will be a moment or two on this trip where the Milky Way is visible. And so I've built this new kit, especially when we're staying in Joshua Tree. We're going to be a ways out, well, both places. It'll be fun to be able to look out at the stars and do some Milky Way work. So I have both of my star trackers and night gear kits in here, along with a nice little telescope that all can mount up on either of my systematic tripods that I bring with me that my big fluid head fits into. I just pull a pin, pop that fluid head out, pop this mount in, and I can set up a big star tracker. I've got my little star tracker in here. I have a couple of Acrotech's amazing ball heads to go with those trackers, and I have a little telescope that we can all spend some time looking at the stars, along with lens warmers and counterbalances if we wanted to use a longer lens with work or use this telescope with the tracker, the bigger Ioptron tracker. So I've got both my move system and all that all kind of packed in here. We're going to do some night work both in Joshua Tree and Death Valley. This makes it easy to just pull this one big Pelican case out and we can do night work. And we can set up that telescope wherever we're staying and be able to look at the stars, which is always fun. Then I've got sort of what I carry a lot. This is my core kit. You know, if I'm going on a plane, This plus my tripods and a rolling duffel bag with some clothes packed around it is what I travel with. I got my Nya Evo Fjord 60C, which I just adore. The more I use this pack, the more I love it. I have links at hudsonhenry.com/ATSlinks. These packs are awesome. I have a whole video on it. I'll put a link to the video on this and to the video on this rolling Pelican case, which I love to carry on planes. It has a pop-out handle, and it's just a really wonderful way to carry gear when you're flying. But I use it as a gear locker on workshops too, and I'll show you quickly. I'll just kind of talk through what I have in here. I have my Z7 sitting right here in the bag. I've got my 70-200 2.8 S lens. I want to compare that with the 100-400 that's going in my bag. Mainly I'm going to use the 100-400. But if I get into a situation where we're close to the van and we have a beautiful scene that needs to be razor sharp and I want to kind of shoot it with both lenses, I'm doing some more comparative tests to determine whether I should keep this 70-200 or not. I'm going to see if I can live with just the 100-400, but I do love this lens. There's a video coming out on that soon if you haven't seen it already. I've got some spare filter step-up rings for the 112mm system and just some extra caps for the 112mm case filter system. I have battery chargers and spare memory cards in here. You know, now with the Z9 having two 500 gigabyte cards, I rarely need a spare card. I've got my 20mm 1.8 old Nikon F-mount lens because it throws the best Sunstar of any lens I've ever owned, and I can't quite get rid of it. I also have the little Nisi 15mm Sunstar lens, and I'm going to do some back-to-back testing with the two of those and see if I can get rid of that old F-mount lens or not. I have the new FTZ2 adapter on there. I have my 105 macro 2.8 S lens, sharpest 105mm lens, the best macro lens I've ever owned, bar none, ready to go. I have my 20mm 1.8, which even though I have the 14-24 2.8, this lens is such an amazing low light weapon, particularly on a star tracker or doing stacking. Just amazing. The little Nisi is sitting nested in some of the hoods for these lenses. Luckily, a lot of the Nikon lenses share hood mounts. The 20mm and the new 24-120 both share a hood. It's identical hood. I've got a set of 82mm case filters in case I need to do some film work with one camera, or I'm going to do some time lapse where I want to filter, and I'm already using my other 112mm system that's my main. I've got gaff tape. I always carry gaff tape. I've got my 1.4 teleconverter that works on either the 70-200 or the 100-400 S lenses. And I got a little bag to put that in and keep it protected underneath there that also makes it sit up top here where it's easy to get a hold of. So that's sort of my spare gear locker, along with a little blower brush nested in on top of my 70-200. So that's my Pelican Air 1535 case, a gear locker. I can use it to swap gear in and out of. Then in my packed bag, what I would expect on a daily basis to be taken out with me. I won't go into the main compartment. I have my little Really Right Stuff PG-01 panning rails in there. I know no one can get a hold of those. They released them, I tested them, I put out a video, everybody ordered them, and they're still not in stock. I do love this in that rare circumstance when I have something close in my scene and something distant and I'm worried about parallax and I want to either tilt down or tilt up or do multiple rows so I can't pan level. Well, that's a great fluid head item. Then I've just got some warm clothes, you know, hat, windbreaker, you know, all those kinds of essentials. A pack cover, a camera cover in case we get in a little rainstorm, so I can stay nice and waterproof. In my front pocket, I've got batteries, spare memory cards, business cards, headlamp, toilet paper, that external battery, the Anchor battery that'll last as much as 6 Nikon Z9 batteries just going in via USB-C to charge the camera or run the camera while you're working with it. That's so great for night work. And then in my main compartment, I have everything organized thusly. Here's a little look at it. But it is essentially my 100-400, which happily fits, whoops, remember to secure the butt cap on your lenses tighter than that. So the 100 to 400, which fits nicely into the same compartment in my bag as my 70 to 200. And I've got that Kirk lens foot it's got the Arca Swiss rail and a QD adapter to sling that on my sling. My sling is in there with my headlamp in the front of my pack, my LumaLab sling. I've got my trusty 14 to 24 S lens, the finest ultra wide angle lens I've ever used. Both of these have little straps held over holding them. I have the Z9 body right here. I don't feel like reorganizing my bag to waste the space to have this with a lens on it. It doesn't take long to mount a lens. And I have one of several L brackets that I'm testing. I have a whole bunch of stuff along this trip that are accessories for the Z9, from remote controls to L brackets to some other fun stuff. And so I'll be doing a video about accessories that I find to work the best for the Z9. I found some non-Nikon stuff works better than the Nikon stuff actually. I've got my 24 to 120 f4. This will probably be my knockaround lens most of the time on this trip. Amazing, amazing lens. I love it. I did a video recently on that lens. I'll put it on the in the full description to this video. I'll put a link to that video. I've got my HB97 hood, which fits the 70 to 200 millimeter lens I'm taking with me, as well as the 14 to 24, and then I have adapters from 77 to 112 that are in this kit of 112 millimeter filters, because both my 100 to 400 and my 24 to 120 are 77 millimeter filters, so it's as easy as mounting. There's my UV filter with the 24, with the 77 to 112 adapter on there. So I have a UV polarizer, 3, 6, and 10 stop neutral density filters, and a neutral night filter, all sitting in here with the HB97 hood. In the little pocket, I've got tools, lens cleaning cloths, spare batteries for my headlamp, all that kind of good stuff. That's what's going in the van. That and a duffel bag of technical clothes. You know, I'm not taking any cotton or jeans. I'm taking technical shirts that don't get filled with sweat, wicking garments. I'm taking, in this bag, I've got a warm hat and gloves, taking a rain shell, shower kit, and all this photo gear. Now, luckily, El Jefe is not space limited. You know, there's seats for 12, and behind the back row, there's a queen-sized bed with a huge compartment underneath it. So not only does all of my gear fit in there, but all 12 people's gear fits in there. So, you know, it's not like flying on an airline. This is what I take on workshops. I cannot wait. This is my favorite thing that I do, that I've ever done professionally. You know, I've been everything from a sailor in the original Gulf War and flight deck crew member to, you know, a college research assistant in the science department in geomorphology to an environmental attorney and litigator, to being a working photographer and working with art directors and companies, getting shots of things that, you know, are out in wild places that are hard to reach. But this photo education stuff, where I get together with a group of people and we go out there and we go into the most beautiful places and we all learn from each other and hone our craft. And I get to look at the world through 12 different sets of eyes, or 10 different sets of eyes, depending on the workshop. We have 10 in Death Valley, but we have 12 in Joshua Tree. And I've got Rick co-leading the workshops with me. We have so much fun. I hear stories, I learn things, I see new things through other people's eyes. And while I teach, I learn so much and I have such a great time. So I'm getting pumped to hit the road. I'm driving day after tomorrow to Reno, staying the night, and then driving on to pick up Rick in Death Valley, and then the fun starts. So I'll tell you some stories from the road while we're out there. Don't forget to send questions in at the office hours sign-up site, hudsonhenry.com/office hours. Rick and I are going to film some Q&A sessions in beautiful places along this trip where we answer some of those questions and post them. Most of this trip we won't have very good internet connectivity, so we can't do live events. But we'll be back with the big free office hour meeting sessions starting April 12th. Sign up for that at hudsonhenry.com/office hours. Again, all the gear that I love is at hudsonhenry.com/ATS links. Those links help me out. I thank you so much for using them and supporting me. You know, again, thanks to everyone for liking, sharing, and subscribing this channel. It makes such a difference. And Hey, I hope everyone out there is staying safe, having fun, being creative, and just getting out and looking at the world in a creative way. All right, we'll see you next week.